it has been a select few heavyweight stocks that have been, deciding the market momentum lately, and especially this cohort of the large private banks, HDFC, ICICI, Axis, Kotak being another one. They have really, at least provided a flow to the market and have helped market, not fall as much in the dips that we have seen in the past few sessions. But, clearly there is this divergence in performance that is occurring between the broader markets and the large caps. So my question really is, can large caps, can they continue to outperform when the broader markets are cracking?
That's really a very good question. And see, what happens is that we need to understand a couple of things. One is that there is a continuous flow of money which is there in the markets. And at the current levels, the fund managers or the smart money or the savvy investors, they wouldn't really like to get into stocks where there could be significant volatility, because as we know that going forward, we have the general elections also coming. So that adds one element of volatility to the market. So to be on a safer side, because if we see corrections in large cap, it's not very significant as compared to what we witness in the mid cap and the small cap.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons where though the risk reward ratio wouldn't really be warrant, but still the money flow which has to be parked, that would be looking at safer opportunities, and there the large caps score far better as compared to the mid caps and small caps. So that's, I think, one of the reasons. And also what we are seeing is that in the small cap and the mid cap, we are seeing profit booking also happening, because the way many of these stocks had rallied, so, and also the valuations, if you would watch out for, they would be really out for many of the stocks. So a lot of profit booking is also happening, and people are waiting for maybe some correction to get into those stocks. So that's the reason why we are seeing the heavyweights continue to hold firm vis-a-vis the small caps and the mid cap.
All right, and sir, I was reading this report which suggested that, a lot of these retail investors that have recently started participating in the markets, they have been using this margin facility provided for some of these by actually a lot of brokers, for trading in some of these high-flying momentum-driven stocks, with some of them which have turned multi-bagger. But now that, the broader markets, they seem to be turning a corner. Are you, concerned about this big leverage that has been driving this push?
Yeah, I would say, see, what happens is that leverage cuts both ways. So it's like a sword. It cuts both ways. So it all depends upon the user, whether he's able to take advantage and whether he's at a disadvantage. So having said that, what happens is that if the markets are going in one's favor, then the possibility of returns increases significantly, because you are on leverage. But if the market moves otherwise against, then the losses are also commensurate to that. So getting into margin funding or margin trading, one needs to really understand the pros and cons and the risks involved. And also what happens is that the best thing one needs to really understand in the markets is that the markets are always uncertain, and you have to be prepared for anything and everything that can happen in the market at any time. So it effectively means that you have to have a worst case scenario. So an exit plan, if something happens in any circumstance, so what is it that you really plan to do? That's what the smart investors really do. And then you can take advantage of these products, or and secondly, you have to be comfortable and you have to understand the pros and cons as well.
All right, but considering that there is so much, leverage in the system, and perhaps a lot of it has come from weak hands, as we call it, the retail investors, especially those who have, recently started participating, in the markets. I mean, is that a concern, or is that something that we need to be cautious about going forward? Could that, perhaps have some sort of a domino effect?
See, I wouldn't look at that from that perspective, because if we see, what we need to understand is that overall the market structure remains strong and positive, and also global markets have been fairly positive, be the US markets or the European or the Japanese markets. So till the time we really don't see some major trigger coming from the US Fed or some important US data, which could have an impact of a change in trend. Because what happens is that in a bull market, which we currently are, we see some bouts of correction, but the bull trend remains intact. So we are not anyway seeing that there is a major change in trend. But yes, you are right that at record highs, investors or traders, they definitely need to be more cautious, and they also need to lighten their positions where they feel that the positions are overweight. So that clarity and understanding definitely needs to be there.